people need to understand that under Title 10A, one of the most important things that happens in a DHS case is that the agency must always and constantly show the court at every hearing that they're making reasonable efforts to return that child to a relative placement. They call it a kinship placement. So that's not just at the beginning when they remove a child and put the child into foster care. Oops, we can't find family. They have to make constant, reasonable efforts. And they have to tell the court about those efforts. The court holds them responsible every hearing for those records. In this case, I'm not even sure how to say this. They just hid a viable relative placement from the court. So Andrew's biological brother, his name's Eugene, and his wife Angie live in Texas. They are a married couple with a home who are raising their own healthy children. They are very financially stable. And they reached out in the case to Akitha Washington, who was the first permanency worker who's whistleblowing about this. And she was working with them because they specifically said that they wanted to take custody of Lincoln. So that is a viable, you cannot ignore that. While they were working with Akitha and talking to her is when Akitha left the system over the Lochman case and a new worker came on. So the communication just went dead and they were very concerned. They couldn't get a hold of anybody about Lincoln's case. And they have given me their emails of their efforts to try and get Lincoln. And I just included some of them in the article so people can understand this couple was sincerely trying to get their nephew. And they finally, in August of 2021, when they could get no one, reached out to the referral line. There's an open email referral line where you can report suspected child abuse. They had no luck, so they went to this line and they said, we've been trying to do this. We're trying, quote, to find out what the options are for my wife and I to take custody. They get an answer from the referral line that they're going to find the right worker. They send it to the supervisor, Jennifer Baker, in Cleveland County. And she writes back and she says here, thanks for reaching out. Akitha Washington is no longer with the agency. Here's Rosemary is your new worker. And I've blocked out her phone number and gives the phone number. This couple was so eager and worried about Lincoln that they immediately reply and said, thank you, Rosemary. I know it's the weekend, but we're available for a call if you have time. So it just shows the urgency that they've been trying to get in touch with DHS and be placement, keep this child within their extended family. They report, I was able to contact them and interview them both jointly on the phone. And they said that Rosemary Love informed them that they could not be placement at the time because the case goal was still to return Lincoln to Andrew and Gardenia, their biological parents. That was the case goal. And there's no way they could remove them from Oklahoma because they need to visit with Lincoln. So the couple basically said, okay, we understand that. If things change, we want to know. That was the phone conversation. When things changed very quickly and the case goal became adoption because the Lochmans were pressured to relinquish their rights, and were told that if they did not relinquish and they were terminated on, that they would never be able to keep a future child in Oklahoma in the future.
They were threatened.
Yes, and that is not uncommon. There's something statutorily here that these workers have wrong. That gets repeated a lot. I've heard it from several different families that they had pressure, or I've even heard from families involved with DHS, if you don't relinquish on this younger one, we're going to have to take the older one. What sense does that make? So Rosemary Love, they weren't in contact with her again. And then the case goal changed. They never got in touch with the paternal aunt and uncle, and he was adopted by the Harrisons. The court was never aware that Eugene and Angie Lochman were seeking placement or had been in contact with DHS.